On July 21st, 2017, on Friday, beloved, I dreamed again about boarding a boat. I knew it was Friday very late when I boarded, and my companion boarded with me, and that gave me a little peace. So again, I went to the cabin that was assigned to me, and as I entered the door, I saw myself again taking a small child with me, and I also had a bundle like the previous time on my shoulder, but this time I was carrying a box of Bible storybooks for the little one, which I carried again in my right hand. Then my companion told me, "Leave him there reading. He will be safe, and come and let's observe the cabins." So I was taken to each cabin, and I could see how on the hangers or wardrobes there were many women's shoes, heels, flip-flops, luxury clothes, boxes and boxes and more boxes, a lot of pomp and a lot of luxury under their beds too. And everyone was getting ready for the Friday night. So the beauty salons, the beauty who were on that ship were overflowing with ladies, and from the cabins it would come out like a parade. They were all lined up there, men and women, for a large main room where I saw many men overcoated, which I had not seen before. So I asked my companion who were those men, and he said, "Let's get closer, listen and see." So when we got closer, I started to recognize some and others I didn't. I heard that they did some dynamics like in the youth society, and those who led were pastors. Then my companion said to me, "What did you see?" I answered, "I saw a gala parade towards a big hall, music, Bible exercises, directed by pastors." And he answered me, "You have seen good." Then he said to me, "Let's go." Then we walked down the aisle of the ship. I thought we were going to the cabin, but we went through all the rooms of the ship, and there behind the doors were abominable and hideous things, of which the pastors and that I had seen before in the large room were there behind those doors practicing. Then I began to be frightened by this that was happening. And my companion said aloud, "Enough! This will not be forgiven." So my heart began to beat rapidly, and I felt a lot of heat on my face. I still couldn't believe what I had seen when my companion told me, "Come and see." Then I was taken to a window of the boat, and I could see the bow of the boat. The sea was calm. It was already daylight. It was Saturday morning, so I could appreciate it well. So while I was looking at the beauty of the sea and the sun that was reflected in it, I suddenly saw an iceberg. This iceberg was huge. Then I said to my companion, "It is very close to us. We're going to crash." But he calmly told me, "Listen." At that moment, I heard a voice in an auto speaker, and they said, "Passengers, we have a problem since we boarded, but we had not informed you because we thought we could solve it. But now, seeing the imminent situation, we are forced to inform you that the ship's rudder has not worked since we entered deep waters, and we have no way of dodging this iceberg. So don't despair and don't get off the ship. Just stay in it and you will be safe." I began to look at my companion. I was terrified, and I said, "These instructions are not very logical. What do we do?" Then he said to me, "Run and tell them to seek their salvation for themselves." So I ran. I went cabin by cabin, aisle after aisle, and I told them to put on their life jacket and that doors and other things that will float could save their lives. But everyone looked at me and laughed and made fun of that instruction that I was giving them. So exhausted and without strength, I went to the large reunion room. And what I saw there I could not believe. All those, from the pastors to the parishioners, all were eating, drinking, and laughing as if nothing was happening. Then I ran in the middle of them, and I said to them, almost crying and screaming, "Stop laughing and overeating. Don't you see that the ship is about to perish and we with it?" Then they all felt silent, looking at me, and laughed even more. And the leaders got up and ordered other parishioners to please take me out so that I will not be damaging their celebration. That day was Saturday morning, so I ran to my cabin because I remembered the boy I had boarded with. And when I went, he looked at me and said, "I heard and I'm afraid. What are we going to do?" So I said to him, "Come, don't be afraid." I don't know how, but I went directly to where my companion was, and I told him, "Only he and I want to save ourselves. What should we do?" Then he said to me, "Don't be afraid. Just follow the instructions." Then he gave me a book, and I opened it. It was a book that had gold letters. They all gave few directions, but the boy and I began to follow them, and suddenly we were floating out of the boat in the sea. Then I could see how the ship hit the iceberg. It was a solid and violent shock, because the ship was going at full speed. I began to cry when I saw this, because I heard the cries for help, but the help did not reach them. And I saw how many desperately jumped into the water with their belongings in hand and struggled to be afloat without success. The eyes of those people were looking at me. They were terrified as if saying, "Save me." But I couldn't do anything for them. Then my companion came to where I was and said, "It's time to go." Then I said to him, "No, no, please. What will happen to them?" And he told me, "Their fate is already cast." Then I looked at the boat and the people again, and some struggling to live and others already floating dead. And suddenly a huge wave engulfed them, engulfed everything. I didn't see the people or the boat anymore. So on the way to the shore, I saw a small boat. I was allowed to get on it. It was a rowing boat, but the boy and I felt safe there. So before reaching the shore, I saw that there were 10 people on the boat, and I thought, where are they from? And then, thinking this, my companion told me, "Look." Then I saw the big ship again, where I had entered. I saw some who did not like the trip, and the ship just sailed. They jumped out of it, and fighting for being afloat, this little boat picked them up, and now me and the boy were there with them. So I asked my companion, "Who is the pilot?" And he told me, "You know." I was glad, but soon I remembered the great ship and the crew, and my sadness returned. Then my companion said to me, "Why are you sad? Are you not safe? You're already sure." But I told him, "I'm sad for the crew that was on the ship that perished." And he told me, "Come and see." I was transported inside the ship again. I was at the time of the crash, and in desperation, some were saved, but they struggled not to lose their belongings, and they accused me that I did not help them load them. They pushed me and made fun of me, and when they came to land, they did not worship God because He allowed them their salvation, but they continued in their evil ways. I was taken to see the boat outside of it so that I could appreciate its facade. And the first thing I saw was a large cross on top of the boat. And on one side of the boat, it said Seventh-day Adventist Church. When I read this, I was scared, and my companion told me, tell them that their fate has been cast. Everything is ready, and I see them transparent." Beloved, there I woke up.